Lord, we thank you for this wonderful opportunity, Lord, to come and, Lord, to have this wonderful ceremony, God. We thank you for this wonderful school, Lord. We honor Pat Robertson, Lord, who was obedient to you so that we could be here today. We thank you for KDP, Lord, and we just pray that you would fill this room with your presence and that, Lord, you would help us, Lord, as we begin a new year, Lord, in our chapter, that you would just bless all the leaders here. God bless Dr. Gold and our deans, Lord. Bless our new members, God, and their families. We thank you for each and every one. And we just pray that this would be a very blessed year as we grow and as we seek, Lord, to just love each other and to be unified and to make a difference, Lord, in this community for education. And we thank you and praise you. In Jesus' name. Amen.
So good evening, everybody, and welcome to our induction and initiation ceremony for Kappa Delta Pi. One of our MCs for the evening has been detained a little bit, so I'm going to jump in and fill in for her until she can arrive. I'm sure when she does, she'll be a little bit breathless, but we will welcome her as soon as she does get here. So this is the initiation ceremony for the Alpha Iota Omicron chapter of Kappa Delta Pi International Honor Society in Education. I'm Dr. Cheryl Gould. I'm the department chair of the Teacher Education Department, which is the undergraduate teacher preparation programs at our university. I am also a proud Kappa Delta Pi member since 2013. Kappa Delta Pi International Honor Society in Education was founded in 1911 to foster excellence in education and promote fellowship among those dedicated to teaching. For over a century, the society has consistently grown, starting with a local chapter to become an international organization that it is today, with an initiated membership that exceeds 1.2 million members. It's a lot of people. You all are joining. Kappa Delta Pi members are leaders in the classroom and the community. The society recognizes and celebrates the achievements of its members and its chapters who strive for excellence and a high degree of professionalism, leadership, and growth in the field of education. So tonight we're going to initiate incoming members who demonstrate the high standards of the society. Their names are listed in the program. If you'd like to look at those. Incoming members who are unable to attend this evening's ceremony, I believe there was just one. We'll still have their name called, but she will receive her certificate at a later date. As a chapter, we believe Christian educators have a further responsibility to help students achieve their full purpose as a whole individual created in the image of God. We recognize students' unique, miraculous, and refined abilities through education. Christian educators must be equipped to foster academic excellence, nurture character, and transform lives. We're fortunate to have a special guest with us this evening, and when your name is called, if you would please stand to be recognized. Dr. Kurt Kressig is the Dean of the School of Education. We also have some KDP alumni with us, if you'd like to stand, who will be helping us with this evening's ceremony. So we just appreciate all of these individuals who help to make our society and our chapter what it is. We sincerely appreciate your support. We also want to welcome the family members and friends gathered here with us to celebrate as we recognize the achievement and accomplishment of this small group of young educators. And if the family and friends will just stand, we'd love to recognize you all. We know that our members, they have their own striving for excellence, but we know that we do not get where we are alone. We get there on the shoulders of others. So we appreciate all the support that you all give to these fine young people. right now we're going to sing together and make a joyful noise unto the Lord. So if you will join me, you have in your program, I was going to say brochure, but it's a program, Be Thou My Vision. This was a song that one of our members, Ronnie Ripple, picked last year, and it's kind of just become our song now. So if you will stand with me and we're going to sing together, I am depending on you all to help me make a joyful noise. So I'm going to jump in and then you all jump in with me. Be Thou my vision, O Lord of my heart, not be all else to me, save that Thou art. Thou my best thought, by day or by night, waking or sleeping, Thy presence my light. Riches I heed not, nor man's empty grace. Thou mine inheritance, now and always. Thou and Thou only, first in my heart. O King of glory, my treasure Thou art. O King of glory, my victory won. Rule and reign in me till Thy will be done. Heart of my own heart, whatever befall, still be my vision, O ruler of all. Thank you all so much for joining with me in that. At this time, I want to invite Dr. Kirk Kressig to the stand. Dr. Kirk Kressig is a 27-year seasoned educational leader. Dr. Kressig has served as a university department chair, school principal. Matter of fact, he was the department chair of this department prior to my being in this position. A teacher and a coach. He is known for innovation, curriculum development, teacher training and support, and improved student performance. We are delighted to have you with us this evening. And Dr. Kressig, we invite you to come up and bring greetings and some words of encouragement.
Thank you. All right, good evening, everyone. I'll tell you, as Dr. Gould said, 1.2 million, but I like the company here. It says on the brochure, members keep good company. Albert Einstein, George Washington Carver, Eleanor Roosevelt, and Margaret Mead, just to name a few. Outstanding. All right, as Dr. Gould said, my name is Kirk Kressig, and I'm honored to serve Regent University as the Dean of the School of Education. It's a pleasure to come speak with you this evening. I'm excited for all the new inductees and the standing members. And this is directed to you as a group, and just to talk about a few things. Because around campus this week, we're starting to get into our routines. The dust has settled. What is this, week 4, week 5? So things are starting to come together. You're starting to see more and more what you're learning in the classroom and how that applies in the field. And those connections are starting to come quicker, more easily recognizable. All sorts of positive things are happening. It's a special time for you. But I want to take a moment and just talk about the question that you've probably been asked 1,000 times, maybe 2,000 times. Why do you want to become a teacher? Just think about that. Rhetorical question. Just think about why do I want to become a teacher? If you're a student teacher in the field and you ask your mentor, they're probably going to say, well, the top 3 reasons are June, July, and August, right? all kidding aside. But there are countless reasons. Number 1, job security, really making a difference in the community. You could say no day is the same. There are so many different things, and it's a great balance for life work life and family life. No other job like that. But I really want you to think about this and take it seriously, because you have to understand the awesome obligation and responsibility that you will have going into this profession. And I mean that in many different ways. There's a gift that God has bestowed on each of you, and you may not know what that is yet, but I'm going to shine a little bit of light on it tonight. But just know that it's a 1,000-pound gorilla on you right now when you're starting to go through student teaching and you're getting in there and making a difference. But I want you to think real quick about your favorite teacher, whether it's in high school, middle school, or elementary. If you can remember back for a second, who's your favorite teacher? And when I think about my favorite teacher, just to give an example, Princess Anne High School, probably my oceanography teacher, Dennis Dixon. And I'm trying to think about, okay, when I was a PA, what really made Mr. Dixon special? I'm thinking about it, and then when I really think about it, I'm like, no, let me step back a second. What was that gift that God bestowed upon Dennis Dixon to really make an impact in my life? So, I want to go on and talk about a repeated theme in the Bible. When you think about your favorite teacher, what the Lord told Peter. The Lord told Peter, each of you has received a gift. Use it to serve one another as good stewards of God's grace. Everything that you do here at Regent, everything in the program, whether secondary education or IDS, is rooted in service to others. So you're learning to become a professional teacher because of a gift that God has bestowed upon you. And you think about your gift. What is your gift? What makes you special that you will become a professional and excellent teacher? You may say, hey, I'm the smarts. I love biology. I can rock that subject. I love it. Or you may say, maybe I bring humor to the classroom. Or maybe I just really connect with kids. But I want to share a story about this gentleman here in relation to your gift that you already have and you may not even recognize it yet. This gentleman here is Jeffrey Canada. Now he started the Harlem Kids Zone back in 2000, and he's changed the life of around 8,000 kids in Harlem. And here's how he did it. Now he's an exceptional educator. He's the principal of the Harlem Children's Zone. And how this works is that he's pulled together social and educational services to provide a safe and good education for tens or thousands of students that will lead to a better life. So this is what he did, and this was his gift that I'm getting at. Every day as a principal, after the teachers took roll, he got a list of students who were not in his school, those that were either truant, absent for one reason or another. And after all the teachers took all the roll, he'd have somebody collect all the names of the students that weren't there. He'd also gather up the addresses. He'd leave the school building in Harlem, and he'd knock door to door for the students' homes who were not in school. So he'd walk up and knock on the door and say, "Sir, madam, Kurt's not in school today. Is he here? He needs to be in school." You see, Jeff didn't want anyone left behind. Didn't want a generational gap, and also wanted to make sure that that child had the same opportunity to learn as the kids in school. He did that day in and day out, every single day, and he still does it to this day. That's his routine, making sure kids are in school. But he's a gifted educator, and he serves families who neither have the financial resources nor the social capital, and you've heard that before, nor the social capital to improve their situation or that of their kids. So he does what it takes. He seeks opportunities to serve those in need, and that's his gift. Your gift might not be what you were thinking about, but your service to kids and communities that will come is a gift bestowed upon you by God. It is a service gift. So you will make a difference in the lives of kids. So just like this gentleman here in his book, whatever it takes. And what I mean, whatever it takes, that is a service. Knocking on doors, making sure kids are in school. He may not be the smarts in a subject. He may not be, or she may not be the best when it comes to managing a classroom, but a gift of service is something that God has bestowed upon each and every one of you. So as you go through the school year and you leave this room tonight, I urge you to think about that gift that's in you now, it will come to the surface more and more as you become a professional teacher. I'm excited that you're going to be part of this honor society. It's a terrific society, and it's going to open doors. So for the rest of the semester, I wish you a lot of luck and fun times. This is a special time in your life. So I thank you for the opportunity to talk tonight. And thank you, folks, and I appreciate everyone who's here. So thank you.
We just want to thank Dr. Kresick so much for supporting us and everything that you do to contribute to the success of our program. Really appreciate that. I want to introduce you all to Lee Yarbrough. Lee is the past president. She was the 2018-2019 president of Kappa Delta Pi. So it falls to her now to begin the installation or initiation of our new members. So I'm going to turn it over to Lee.
Thank you, Dr. Gold. So, members of the Alpha Iota Omicron chapter, Kappa Delta Pi, International Honor Society in Education, are now assembled to reaffirm faith in the ideals of our society and to initiate into membership candidates who seek the bond of our common purpose to promote excellence and in recognize outstanding contributions in education. Will Ashley Spielman and Dr. Gould please join me on the stage at this time in preparation for the initiation of members.
President Yarbrough and members of Kappa Delta Pi, I present these candidates who wish to make the ideals of our society their own. Will the members and candidates please stand? I present for initiation 7 new members: Kelsey Brooks, Alyssa Brock, Elizabeth Milstead, Kimberly Peltonen, Parker Thorogood, Haley Caldwell, and Lisa Kreider.
KDP member Ashley Spielman will now relate the society and the chapter's origins. University of Illinois, the society was incorporated on June 8, 1911. The Alpha Iota Omicron chapter was installed by Dr. Christina DeWitt on September the 7th, 2018. Our chapter was the 907th KDP chapter installed around the world. Before we knew this, we had already selected September 7th or 0907 for the installation of our new chapter. We think this to be a meaningful fact about our chapter. What does membership in Kappa Delta Pi imply?
It implies fostering the high ideals of the education profession by assuming trusteeship of a rich professional legacy. It is our privilege and duty as educators to transmit this legacy.
Candidates, do you accept the responsibility of transmitting this legacy? If so, you will answer, I do.
I do.
What are the principles upon the society is founded, in which the society is founded?
Education is a vital societal force that encourages universal welfare and individual progress. Education is the cornerstone of democracy and the foundation for personal fulfillment. Honor societies conduct rituals and ceremonies to impress upon their members the ideals and duties to which they adhere. Members of Kappa Delta Pi have cherished the society's ideals and have accepted the concept of duty established of Kappa Delta Pi, should be aware of the duties which education imposes and uphold the ideals of the society.
We present for your acceptance the ideals which guide members of the society.
The first ideal is that of fidelity to humanity. This ideal implies faith in the potential of human beings and in the improvement of the human condition through education. Compassion in the context one has as an educator with humanity, and dedication to the concept that through continuous education based upon equal opportunity, persons of all ages races, and creeds will find increased opportunity for experiencing more meaningful lives. All of this is implied in the ideal of fidelity to humanity.
Do you accept this ideal of fidelity to humanity? If so, you will answer, I do.
I do.
The second is the ideal of science. The ideal implies that as an educator, one will be faithful to the cause of free inquiry and strive to eliminate prejudice and superstition by withholding judgment until accurate and adequate evidence is found. A favorite theory, not to be blinded by the new or spectacular, nor condemn the old simply because it is old. All of this is implied in the ideal of science.
Do you accept this ideal of science? If so, you will answer, I do.
I do.
The third ideal is that of service. This ideal is the very essence of education, which seeks advancement, not merely for self, but for society as well. The incentive of the great educators of the world has been their desire to serve humanity. Service in education implies living so that others are strengthened and inspired, and striving for the achievement of justice, peace, and a better way of life for all. All of this is implied in the ideal of service.
Do you accept this ideal of service? If so, you will answer, I do.
I do.
The final ideal is that of toil. The will to do the task that must be done, whether the task pleases one or not. And faith in the social necessity and intrinsic reward of the education profession. If others are won to the cause of education, if one life has been given greater freedom and nobler vision, toil has not been in vain. All of this is implied in the ideal of toil. I'm supposed to add.
Do you accept this ideal of toil? If so, you will answer, I do.
I do.
So we have the banner for the KDP. Our society's emblem incorporates the scroll, the stylus, the beehive, and the characters K, Kappa, Pi, Delta, or Delta, Pi. Many of these treasures of antiquity, which form the foundation of modern education, rest upon scrolls of papyrus. The golden scroll, therefore, is the foundation of our emblem. The shaft running through the scroll is the stylus, the first instrument known to be used in making letters and figures. The beehive symbolizes toil. This character's K, Kappa, Delta, Pi represents our motto: knowledge, duty, power. Words expressing the entire meaning of our educational ideals. The purpose and ideals of Kappa Delta Pi are now known to you. Are you ready to assume the obligation of membership in Kappa Delta Pi? If so, you will answer, I do.
I do.
Please repeat after me the obligation of the society. I promise to abide by the Constitution
I promise to abide by the Constitution
and bylaws of Kappa Delta Pi
and bylaws of Kappa Delta Pi,
and to cooperate
and to cooperate
to expand the influence of its purpose and ideals
to expand Her purpose and ideals and influence.
I wish you took that a little
I know.
Shut up.
Okay, to expand the influence
Influence.
There we go.
of its purpose and ideals.
Its purpose and ideals.
I now declare you members of Kappa Delta Pi, International Honor Society and Education, pledged to be faithful to its ideals and worthy to enter into the bonds of fellowship with its members.
Initiates, you have just taken upon yourselves the obligation of the society as given to you by our 2018-2019 chapter president. To assist you in knowing and honoring this commitment, you are receiving a copy of the Kappa Delta Pi Creed, a certificate which will be yours to keep. Please enter your name in our book, in which all Kappa Delta Pi members sign after the ceremony, if you don't mind. Initiates, remain standing and move to the side of the stage. As I call your name, please walk across the stage to accept your certificate and a copy of your creed. So what you're going to do, guys, is you're going to come walk across the stage, shake Lee's hand, carry on down that way through the stage, and then just go around and go back to your seat after that. And then after the ceremony, you make sure you sign in our book. Got it? Good? All right. We greet you as colleagues in the quest for a full and knowledgeable and useful life. We are united in a profession whose purpose and challenge is to inspire young and old to grow by using their heritage to develop a concern for the needs of others and to strengthen moral character. Kappa Delta Pi, may we be worthy examples of a rich, wholesome life. To these purposes and challenges in firm faith, we devote our lives so to teach that our words inspire a will to learn, so to serve, and that each day may enhance the growth of exploring minds, so to live that we may guide young and old to know the truth and love the right. To the fulfillment of these objectives, we pledge our efforts and our faith. As a member of Kappa Delta Pi, you will be expected to exemplify a commitment to equity by preparing yourself for the diversity, ethnic, social, language, ability, and otherwise you will face every day as an educator. It is my privilege and honor to congratulate you and welcome you to Kappa Delta Pi. You can call their names on the certificate. You want to cross?
Kelsey
Probst.
Prost. Sorry. Here's my first and last official name. Good. Alyssa Brock. Haley Caldwell. Lisa Kreider. Elizabeth Milstead.
Oh, she's not here. She's the one
That's
that's not
fine.
here.
Kimberly Elton. I got it. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
And Parker Thorogood.
Thank you, Lee.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley. We have one more thing to do in this important ceremony. And you may have noticed that we were reading from a script. That is because the Kappa Delta Pi Society requires us to say very specific things to our initiates and make sure that you all agree to very specific things in our ideals. So at this time, I call members Lisa Kreider and Rebecca Jones to join me on the stage. And if you ladies will please stand and face your chapter members. This way. Very good. The Alpha Iota Omicron chapter of Kappa Delta Pi International Honor Society in Education has found you worthy of confidence and of receiving the honor of leadership and trusteeship. True to the ideal of toil, you have been called to labor with even greater energy for the growth of this chapter and for Kappa Delta Pi. Have you felt that so far? Yes. Your fidelity, industry, and judgment will be critical in broadening the influence of Kappa Delta Pi. Your zeal will increase the cooperation of your fellow members. Your vision will make them brighter, and even brighter the goal of our united efforts. As representatives, you are exemplars of the Alpha Iota Omicron chapter. Do you accept the position as an officer of the Alpha Iota Omicron chapter of Kappa Delta Pi? If so, will you answer, I do?
I do.
Do you promise to observe the Constitution and bylaws of Kappa Delta Pi and the bylaws of Alpha Iota Omicron chapter? If so, will you answer, I do?
I do.
Members of the chapter, once again, please rise. You already know you're going to have to stand up. Do you accept these members of the Alpha Iota Omicron chapter as your officers for the coming year? And do you pledge your cooperation in increasing the influence of Kappa Delta Pi? If so, will you answer, I do?
I do.
I now have the honor of declaring you Lisa Kreider, President, Rebecca Jones, Vice President. As officers of the Alpha Iota Omicron chapter, the members have pledged our confidence in and support of you as guides of this chapter in fulfillment of its purpose. If you will remain on stage. I want to pin a little officer pin on each of them. If you'll join me now in a prayer for these officers. Lord, we thank you so much for these who have stood to lead. Father, we thank you for their willingness to serve and, Lord, to toil for those in membership of the society. Father, we thank you for their energy and for their enthusiasm for Kappa Delta Pi. Lord, we ask that you bring to them the remaining officers to fill the slate this year to help them guide and lead the society through the year and into the future. In your name. Stay here. Amen.
Amen.
Without further delay, I invite your 2019-2020 Chapter Officer President Lisa Kreider to bring announcements and closing remarks, and I will excuse Rebecca. She has a job to do.
Yes. I'm on duty.
And you all may be seated.
I'm excited to begin my first official act of business as president of our chapter, Alpha Iota Omicron. Our first chapter meeting will be held on Tuesday, October 15th at 4:30. At that point, we will discuss our two open officer positions, secretary and treasurer, along with our upcoming community service projects, fundraisers, and professional development opportunities. I want to thank Dr. Gould, Ashley, and Rebecca for their time and hard work in making this induction ceremony happen. On behalf of the chapter, Rebecca and myself have a small token of appreciation we would like to present to Dr. Gould. And I also want to thank Dean Kresick for joining us here tonight. And we have a small token of appreciation for you as well.
Thank you.
We want to thank our friends and family and all those who have joined us this evening. And a special thank you to our alumni, especially Lee, for helping us to make this event and transition a success. And finally, I want to thank the new members of Alpha Iota Omicron for joining us and starting this new journey with us here at Regent University. I invite everyone to join us after the ceremony for light refreshments right outside on the balcony. I also would like all the members to gather. We're going to take a photo since I have you guys and everybody's all dressed up tonight. And at that, we will also sign the book. Okay? All right. Well, thank you so much for coming, and I hope everyone has a blessed evening, and thank you.